This is EcoTricity's EcoTEC Roundup show from New Zealand's only carbon zero certified renewable electricity company. We only source from wind, hydro and solar, and we are the leading supplier of electricity to EVs in New Zealand. Switch today at ecotricity.co.nz. Welcome back to another roundup in the world of clean cars and green energy. Thanks for joining me. And also, make sure that you let us know if you like that new opening. We are still playing with things, and there'll be more cool stuff coming on the channel very soon. We start today's show with the fact that it's the beginning of July, which means it's time for the usual quarter-end delivery estimates from Tesla. And just like many Tesla fans, Wall Street has been nervously watching and waiting for those figures to drop. That's because during Q2, Tesla's Giga Shanghai facility spent significant time in a closed-loop phase due to COVID-19, meaning production output wasn't as high as Tesla had planned. Add in continuing parts shortages, and it's been quite the second quarter for the company. Because it takes a good 6 to 8 hours to produce this video before publishing, we don't have the figures yet from Tesla, but if they do appear while we're editing, we'll throw them up right now on the screen. I should remind you that while Tesla's immediate end-of-quarter production and delivery figures are usually pretty accurate, official figures won't be made available until Tesla's quarterly report is published later this month. When automakers bring a new vehicle to market, there's a fair amount of show and tell to get people excited. Things like teaser images ahead of a flashy reveal event. For Chevrolet, its reveal of the Silverado EV followed this well-trodden playbook. Sneak peeks were given, a reveal took place, and it even invited members of the media to see the truck up close and personal. I should know because I was one of those people invited. But since this, and a star-studded ad during the Super Bowl, Chevy has been busy turning its handmade prototypes into something nearer to production-intent vehicles. This week, it teased how far it's come in that process, publishing a 13-second clip of the Silverado EV going through preliminary engineering testing at the Milford Proving Ground. And I'm going to play it here because you might blink and miss it. Yep, that is the entire clip. Look, while it's good to see the truck on its way to pre-production validation, Chevrolet is developing a nasty habit of sharing tiny, whiny snippets that really do not serve that much purpose. Come on, Chevy. Other automakers give us a whole lot more to go on. Talking about vehicles coming to market in the near future, Hyundai finally unveiled its IONIQ 6 sedan this week by holding simultaneous reveal events around the globe. The IONIQ 6 is being called a, quote, electrified streamliner, end quote, by the automaker. But at this channel, we think it's better to call it Hyundai's answer to the Porsche Taycan and the Lucid Air sedan. In fact, the vehicle's drag coefficient of 0.21 matches that of the Lucid Air. There's a lot of sweeping lines in this vehicle, and while Hyundai hasn't given us a whole lot of specification to go on, they will be released closer to its 2023 launch date, we can make some pretty accurate predictions as it's based on the same eGMP platform as the Hyundai IONIQ 5, Kia EV6 and Genesis GV60. Being a sleek sedan rather than a boxy SUV should give it the upper edge on range, and so we're expecting at least 300 miles, 482 kilometers per charge. When we know more, we will of course share. Right now, Tesla is the undisputed king of electric vehicles when it comes to sheer volumes of vehicles sold per year. In fact, in many countries, you can add up all of the market share of all of Tesla's rivals and still not beat Tesla's market share. Yet, veteran auto industry analyst John Murphy from Bank of America Merrill Lynch said this week in his annual Car Wars market forecast that Tesla's market share will precipitously fall in the coming years as mainstream automakers play catch-up. With more than 135 new electric models due to enter the market globally by 2025, Murphy warned that the EV marketplace vacuum that Tesla has occupied for the last decade is quickly being filled up by rivals. While he doesn't appear to address issues of supply chains, something Tesla is most certainly ahead on and other companies are still struggling with, Murphy said Tesla's market share will fall to 11% by 2025, while companies like Ford and GM are expected to grow to more than 15% each. After several years operating internally with staff as passengers, first with a driver supervising and then last year with remote driver supervision, Cruise, a wholly owned subsidiary of General Motors, has taken its first paying customers on trips around San Francisco. Recently receiving a driverless deployment permit from the California Public Utilities Commission, Cruise is the first and only company to get permission to operate a truly public ride-hail service in a major US city. Unlike programs operated by Waymo in Arizona, which are both geographically limited and for downtown Phoenix require you to register to be a specialist trusted tester, Cruise's system now lets literally anyone sign up using the Cruise app, hail themselves a car and pay for their ride. Since Cruise has given each of its vehicles a name written on their hoods, there shouldn't be any confusion identifying which car is your ride. That said, on Tuesday last week, 7 Cruise vehicles blocked an intersection for apparently no reason. So take from that what you will. The entire auto industry has been hit hard in recent years by the COVID-caused microprocessor and parts shortage. But according to Volkswagen CEO Dr. Herbert Diess, that is finally easing. Talking at a works meeting this week, the company CEO said that Volkswagen is set up for a strong second half of this year, with production finally ramping back as bottlenecks ease around the world. What's more, as production ramps up again for 2 of Volkswagen's key markets, China and Germany, Diess predicted that Volkswagen should be able to close the EV market gap Tesla currently has on the rest of the automotive industry, telling employees that Elon Musk has to, quote, ramp up 2 highly complex factories in Austin and Grünheide at the same time, as well as expand production in Shanghai, end quote. Diess said, quote, that's going to take strength out of him, end quote. In other words, Volkswagen seems to think it has the upper hand on Tesla, or at least can start to make a move in that direction. I am pretty sure, though, that Elon Musk disagrees. When the European Union announced a plan to ban all new internal combustion engine vehicle sales by 2035, we told you that not all member countries agreed to that ban. This week, we learned which countries wanted to push that ban back by 5 years: Italy, Portugal, Slovakia, Bulgaria and Romania. They all wanted a more gradual transition and stated that charging infrastructure was a concern to achieving the original proposals. Nevertheless, the ban is still going ahead as planned, and a few days later, the European Council of Environmental Ministers agreed to raise the targets for reducing CO2 emissions for new cars and vans by 2030 to 55% instead of the previously set 50%. That said, the Council also left a back door to its complete ICE vehicle ban, namely that a vehicle powered solely by e-fuels, that's supposedly carbon-neutral petroleum alternatives, may still be sold after 2035. For just under a year now, Rivian has been slowly increasing production of the R1T and R1S at its production facility in Normal, Illinois. And while Rivian's delivery figure estimates have been adjusted downward several times due to the ongoing microprocessor shortage, catching sight of a Rivian in most major US cities is now becoming fairly common. But for Rivian reservation holders north of the 49th in Canada, the wait time to get behind the wheel has just gotten quite a lot longer. We're hearing that some of Rivian's first Canadian customers who'd originally hoped to get their truck last year are now being told that they may not get their trucks until the middle of next year. Having waited a year for my own new vehicle, I sympathise with everyone whose order is being delayed. But given the majority of people I know who ordered a Rivian and also ordered an F-150 Lightning and also a Cybertruck just to see which one would arrive first, well, it might not be good for Rivian if it delays much longer. Stellantis, one of the world's largest automakers thanks to the merging of Fiat Chrysler with PSA, should be an automaker with a massive amount of skin in the EV game. But as I'm sure you'll know if you're a regular viewer, Stellantis CEO Carlos Tavares has stated time and time again that going electric will have a negative impact on the automotive industry, with most of his comments on the subject revolving around the financial implications of doing so. This week, another one of the Stellantis' senior management team, this time Chief Manufacturing Officer Arnaud Deboeuf, stated that automotive industry will quote-unquote be doomed if the EU moves ahead with its plan to ban new internal combustion engine sales by 2035. Unless, he said, that is, electric cars get cheaper. Given that everything gets more affordable when you increase economies of scale, you'd hope that one of the giants of the automotive industry like Stellantis would have enough purchasing power to set up some pretty sweet deals, as Volkswagen and others have done. But maybe it's just too late to the party. Electrify America, the charging network whose foundation was paid for by fines issued against Volkswagen after it was discovered 7 years ago that Volkswagen was installing emissions cheat devices in its diesel vehicles, has just announced a major cash injection. The money, $450 million in total, comes jointly from Volkswagen and Siemens. The latter, or rather its financing arm, Siemens Financial Services, became a new shareholder in EA when it purchased a minority shareholding from Volkswagen for an undisclosed amount. While some news outlets are stating that Volkswagen sold off EA completely, it did only sell off a portion of its shareholding for what some outlets are saying is a figure somewhere in the low hundreds of millions of dollars. This means, I'm going to guess, that in addition to a seat on EA's board, we're also going to see more Siemens-branded EA charging stations in the future. Before we get to the last two stories, a quick question. Are you in the market for a new EV? If you are and you live in New Zealand, you should totally check out our very own buyer's guide at ecotricity.co.nz, as well as Gavin's fantastic reviews on this channel. Both are packed with all the information you need to pick a car that's right for you, and includes plenty of details about incentives you can get, charging providers you can charge up with, and of course, how to get charging at home. Follow the link below and start your journey today. One nice thing about all this modern vehicle technology is it's possible for automakers to add new features to a vehicle or push bug fixes without you ever needing to take your car to the dealership. And as any Tesla owner will tell you, that capability is very pleasant indeed, as long as the upgrades aren't ones that move things around so you don't know where everything is. Of course, most automakers today are now using OTA in their new cars, and the Hummer EV is no exception. And this week, owners of the Edition 1 variant of the monster pickup were told they'd be getting a new update to add the promised extract mode. That's a super high suspension setting that will give trucks a massive 15.9 inches or 404 millimeters of total ground clearance. It was promised at the vehicle's unveiling, but it hadn't made it into production vehicles yet. For those who want to take their trucks off-road, this feature is going to make even the toughest terrain more accessible, and probably more fun too. And finally, the former NUMMI facility, now known as Tesla Fremont, is no stranger to allegations of racism among its workforce, both before and after Tesla took it over. Earlier this year, we covered one case brought against Tesla by former Black and/or African-American employees, alleging some truly abhorrent behaviour at the facility, ranging from verbal abuse to other severe forms of harassment. Earlier this week, a judge ordered a new trial take place involving a former elevator operator's discrimination lawsuit against Tesla. Then on Thursday, 15 people, current and former workers combined, all of whom are black, say that they were made the subject of racist slurs while at Tesla's facility. One employee alleges they were even demoted after missing work due to COVID-19, while others list slurs that I'm not going to repeat here. Neither Tesla nor any of its employees have made comments publicly on this new court case, and we hope for all parties involved that the trial is fair and just based on testimony given and evidence available. And on that note, we are done for the day. But before I go, do make sure you've hit the notification bell so you don't miss out on the latest in EV news from this channel. And of course, if you haven't already switched, do consider switching to New Zealand's only carbon zero certified renewable electricity company. It's super easy to make the switch, and in doing so, you'll help New Zealand wean itself off dirty energy and onto clean green power that will keep the land beautiful for generations to come. I'll be back next week with more awesome content. Gav will be back in the middle of the week with more awesome reviews and other fun stories direct from New Zealand. But until then, enjoy the rest of your day. I'm Nikki Gordon-Bloomfield. Ka kite. See you next time.